Welcome back to Mark Holubit's Vlog, everyone. Thanks for joining in on this beautiful, beautiful afternoon. And obviously today I just want to sort of get back down to basics. And obviously we're into the new year, 2023, a couple weeks in. And I just kind of want to talk about some of the things. I want to reflect back on last year, the year going forward, on both this channel, Mark Holubit's Vlog, where, I like to discuss the things that are really more important to me specifically, and then, of course, over on Exotic Car Play Place, and I'll just address it all because I know a lot of you great viewers out there certainly watch both sides. Some love Exotic Car Play Place, some love Mark Holubit's Vlog, some love both, and there's a few people that maybe don't like either, but if you're viewing today, you probably like this channel at least. And so I just want to reflect back to what we did in 2022, which is basically a lot of work on both channels. Keeping a pretty hectic pace is certainly, taxing and tolling on many different counts. And I just want to mention that, it's been a very rewarding year. The last couple years, as I sort of have been developing these channels to where they're at today, it's been really, really rewarding. And day in, day out, week in, week out, obviously I post on a, Exotic Car Play Place. I'm typically posting, on a Wednesday, and I'm posting on a Saturday. And here, I'm typically posting Saturdays or Sundays, typically here on Mark Holubit's Vlog. It was a pretty hectic year, meeting schedules, but it all makes it so worthwhile when I'm able to talk about the things that I'm passionate about. Here on this channel, we talk about why, life is too short to drive boring cars and why that means so much to me and why, in fact, it means so much to you guys out there too. And again, I want to reflect back that it's been a very fruitful year in that sense that I'm able to converse with you guys. It's been great. And of course, over on Exotic Car Play Place, it's been a really strong year as well. Feels like, the overall views are down a little bit last year, like in 2022 from even the year before in 21. But I mean, that just kind of goes and ebbs and flows. And the fact of the matter is the channel's still growing immensely. And some of which, of course, was, the 2 years where people were at home, they had more time to watch. And so that was the, 2 years before. Last year, people started to get back to work, started to do their regular routine. And while definitely a lot of people took the time out to watch the videos, there was a lot more activity. People were back out busy again. And so that definitely speaks to that. But it's been a very, very, very great year on both counts. And, it's been very busy. So, I just want to talk about that. And really, realistically, none of it could have been done without all of you guys. You guys, are watching week in, week out, and it's wonderful. I love to talk about the Jag. Obviously, we've had some things go down this year, generally in my personal life, and there's been a lot of impact. A lot of it, a lot of YouTubers, and I could speak to many others, that I've engaged with that do hold down like a full-time job, and then they do YouTube on the side, and that's kind of where I'm at. And certainly, the thing I want to mention is, along with life too short to drive boring cars, life's also too short to waste your time doing something that you don't enjoy. I want to throw a special shout out to a buddy of mine, Brian, who did just that. He worked for an organization that, in all accounts, you could look at and say, objectively from a distance, he had the, life by the proverbial balls, and, he had his day-to-day grind, but, professional engineer, made a lot of money, had a targeted career with pension and all those great things that everybody aspires, but it just wasn't speaking his name. And it was not really inspiring him. As a matter of fact, he was getting shuffled around, and he wasn't in a place that he felt very well or very much wanted or respected. And certainly we all have those moments. We all feel like sometimes, that job maybe doesn't really care all that much. And certainly I know we have those ups and downs. Now, on the other hand, we have to make a living. We have to put food on our tables, and, we have inflation and all those things. At the end of the day, roof over head, food, and all those basic essentials are very, very important. All I'm saying is, if there's ever anything that you felt passionately about, and whether it's, cars, or maybe a particular type of career, or maybe you wanted to take up, some business opportunity. Maybe you have a very entrepreneurial spirit and you thought, you know what, that's what's going to really pull me in. That's where my passion really lies. It's not the day-to-day grind. It's that passion for that independent business opportunity. All I'm here to say is don't necessarily do the irresponsible thing, but I will suggest that don't necessarily neglect your passion, whether it's that career opportunity, whether it's that investment that is surefire. But be careful with that. I'm not here to offer up any financial advice, but whatever it is, and maybe it's you want to be a YouTuber, whatever that happens to be, don't hold yourself back. Remember, we have one chance at this, and that's really what, I'm reflecting back, and last year, a lot of stuff happened, both in my personal life. We sustained some loss. There's some ups and downs in life in general. Then, of course, we had a couple of our vehicles smashed, and, that stuff can be replaced. But the point of the matter is we had a lot of hurdles and ups and downs this year on my personal life. And the best thing I can suggest is, get back on the saddle, jump back in and keep grinding forward and keep doing those things that motivate you, that move you forward. I mean, I took the plunge and I made a relatively large deposit, or put a large deposit on a new car that I'm super stoked and excited about. Now, I can't really speak too much of it yet. I feel like that's one of those things that you kind of jinx yourself if you do, because I put a deposit. I'm told you got to wait a couple of years to get it, just because of that's how that company operates, and that's just the way things are. So I've actually committed. I've got money down, and I'm waiting cautiously, patiently to get that car. So that's another thing I'm striving for. Something that's, the passion for vehicles, for cars, it just keeps me moving forward. And I'm living the dream. I'm not going to lie. And I would strongly encourage any of you guys out there, if you've been thinking about doing something, maybe it's not replacing your full-time job, or maybe it is, or maybe it's incorporating another side gig, whatever that is, if you've got a passion for something, do it, take it. So that's where I have this passion, and I'm driving forward. And these cars motivate me. I continue to really, really get stoked every time I get behind the wheel of the F-Type, and we talk a lot about that. And we're going to continue to talk about the F-Type this year in different ways and formats. And with that, of course, at the end of the video here, I'm going to also share the link to a video I did on Exotic Car Play Place. I released it actually yesterday, Saturday. I released it on the other channel. I kind of did a comparison between the Jaguar F-Type and modern day Mercedes, and they're both 2018s. As a lot of you guys know already, I own both those cars. And there's benefits to either or. But there was a time when everybody assumed that Jaguar was the worst junky car out there. And there was a time, many, many moons ago, yeah, you love the kitty cat on the hood, but honestly, it wasn't the most dependable car, and so a lot of people were reluctant to buy them. But times have changed, and they've changed a lot. And I'm proud to say that so far, knocking on some wood, that the Jag has been pretty good. In terms of reliability, I love the car to drive it. But I'd like to hear also in the comments section below, if you guys have any thoughts, if any of you are owners of the F-Type, I'd love to hear what the highest mile F-Type is out there. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear the miles that you have, and as well as if there's something unique about a storyline related to your car. I'd love to hear about that. Definitely share that story in the comment section, or shoot me an email on exoticcarplayplace@gmail.com. Love to hear about it. That's great, because I know a lot of you guys have been sharing stories through email, and obviously I'd love to share those conversations and have those discussions with you guys out there. So I'd love to hear more. Again, yesterday's video, it really does discuss why Jaguar is the way they are today, and Benz, and draw that comparison. There was back in the day, Mercedes was known to be a tank, meant to run forever, hundreds of thousands of miles. Well, things have changed a little bit. And they've changed for Jaguar too, where you'd be lucky to get 60 or 70,000 miles on a car. And quite frankly, they've changed a lot. So I'd like to hear what your miles are on your F-Type. But anyway, moving on. I want to also share a few things, of course, that we're talking about in 2023. Now, we've had some big ups and downs in 22, and I've mentioned already. And we keep forging ahead. That's all you can do, is keep your chin up. Again, I can't help but say enough that we have one shot at this and one shot only. 2023 promises to be an exciting year, really exciting. Number one, I've set up memberships over on Exotic Car Play Place. So if you want to get involved, you want to be recognized as, a special member of Exotic Car Play Place, there's some memberships that I've set up there, and I'd strongly encourage all you guys to go over there, sign up. There's small fees associated with that, but of course, there's going to be some benefits, whether it's a direct question that I will be motivated to ask explicitly. So if you have a question, it definitely prioritizes your questions. Also opportunity to get shout outs and so on. There's a lot of little benefits to that, but you're part of the Exotic Car Play Place team. And with that, this year is extraordinarily exciting in other ways. So not only are we going to be ramping up the content, on Mark Holubus Vlog, all the things that I do and I experience, we're going to continue sharing that. I'm also looking at possibly starting up another channel, but more importantly, on Exotic Car Play Place, we're looking at doing something, let's just say we're going to bring a little extra layer of flair and flavor. We've recently acquired an editor. Now, we did some professional editing last year in 22. We had a few surges where we brought in some editing, some professional editors, but they did it on short term. They did it 1 or 2 videos here or there, but really didn't last very long. That said individual was pretty busy with other things, and so it wasn't able to sustain that. And maybe it's clear to you guys which videos those were on Exotic Car Play Place that we used a professional editor or not. However, we did in fact do that. On top of that, this year, like I said, we are bringing in a professional editor. We're going to start going through videos, and probably sometime in February, I would suspect you're going to start to see the result of what the next level editing looks like on Exotic Car Play Place, as well potentially on Mark Holubus Vlog. But I feel like the vlog is more, mano a mano, just basically talk from the heart. I feel like the editing aspect is probably less critical on the vlog because I'm talking more from my perspective, my view, my angle. And so probably see a lot more of that, those edits, those special edits we'll probably see more on Exotic Car Play Place, which again, I would strongly encourage you guys to head on over there and take a look, listen, and feel. Now, with Exotic Car Play Place and, with Mark Holubus Vlog, I know a lot of people feel a little bit, I've had questions, I've had comments, I've had concerns about, this identity crisis that some people have. Appears that maybe I have a bit of an identity crisis, and we all know, like I've been babbling on about life's too short to drive boring cars. That is truly, truly my mantra. That is truly how I live. I live to enjoy life and the passions, whether it's golf and travel. By the way, we're probably going to do a big trip this year again. We did Mexico last fall. Probably looking at maybe heading to Europe this year coming up. I'm very, very excited about that. Wife's getting very revved up about that as well. So should be really exciting. Looking at, like I said, maybe doing something to Italy. We'll see. Possibly Portugal. We'll see how that all pans out. But definitely looking at doing some of that. And I'll be sure to share some of those experiences with all of you guys on that one. So that's an exciting thing. Editing, travel. But the point of the matter is life is too short to drive boring cars. And what I'm trying to get at by that is you get on the other channel and people getting a little bit confused and they start scratching their head. Well, then why are you recommending a Lexus over a BMW? Because clearly a BMW is more exciting to drive than a Lexus. Right. And I used to be sort of the fanboy. Everybody's, Exotic Car Play Place used to be all BMW, M5, E60 M5, X5. And yeah, I love those cars. That's why we started talking about all of those cars that are really fun to drive. And again, I live that life's too short to drive boring cars. Well, I continue to live it over there. But there's a caveat now. That's the only catch. Because I've also had people say, well, somebody told me to buy this, this old, E92 BMW M3, and it's been a mess, a catastrophe of repairs. And what I'm saying now is, look, it's very, very important to drive what you like. I may love to drive a Ferrari. You might like to drive a Toyota Supra. Maybe you like to drive a McLaren or possibly a BMW. Everybody has their things. and everybody's at a kind of different perspective. Every car brings a different angle. And so when I'm recommending and I'm saying good things about this cluster of cars on Exotic Car Play Place, it's not coming from a place of the absolute most practical, most reliable, like simplest junky car that is just ultimately reliable, and you're giving up all the fun for the sake of reliability. That's not what I'm saying. If I'm recommending a Lexus over a BMW, it's because that BMW, while being fun, there's also no fun in being in the shop all the time throwing out all your hard-earned dollars. So in my mind, if I'm making recommendations over on Exotic Car Play Place, it's coming from a place of, yes, make the best, most fun, enjoyable driving experience choice for you. But consider that there's some practical aspects to that you have to think about. We all have to think about that. When I drive the F-Type, I have to think about the fact that I got to put in a $3,000 windshield now. I have to think about the fact that I'm going to have to spend $3,000 on tires and brakes. And I have to think about some of the big repairs that are possibly imminent. I have to think about that. And that has to fit within my budget. And if it doesn't fit within my budget, then, it's not entirely practical. Now, on the other hand, you could find some Lexus cars like an IS 350 is kind of a fun car to drive. Now, it's not as fun as a 340 BMW. Absolutely. And, if you were saying just absolute all priority goes to, performance over all priority over reliability, like if it was strictly one or the other, of course, I'm going to admit it openly, everybody. I'm going to just say it. I would probably buy that BMW over the Lexus. Honestly, if we're talking one-dimensional, like just single dimension, just pure drive over anything else, then I would pick that BMW. I would choose that BMW. I would pick the Jaguar. I would pick the Benz. I'd pick the Ferrari and the McLaren and the Lamborghini, bar none. It wouldn't even be thinking about it. But for me, in my right mind, I have to think about, okay, yes, those are my go-to. However, does BMW have something right now that, floats my boat? Not entirely. And then you have to put up with the repairs after 4 or 5 years. And then you guys start thinking about, well, it's fun, but I like to keep my cars for 5 to 10 years. And if I truly believe in my heart, as fun as that car is, if I can't stay on top of the maintenance and repairs reasonably, then I'm going to have to say it's a no-go for me. And I can't reasonably say that a brand new 340 BMW will last 10 years without some significant problems along the way. Now, the F-Type might have some issues along the way as well, but that's where I say, look, how much fun, how much reliability and practicality, and where does that blend find? Where do you find that perfect blend? Because you might have a really fun car with some reliability issues, but I'm going to say, well, you know what? The fun factor far outweighs the reliability, so I'm going to still continue driving the F-Type. If, on the other hand, if the pure reliability is almost solely encompassing and the fun factor is so minuscule, then it's a no-go. I mean, a lot of you guys know that I can't stand Toyota Priuses. Now, with that said, the latest Prius looks actually pretty cool, I gotta admit. But generally speaking, a Prius would never make my bucket list because I think it's boring as shit. So it's not just about finding the absolute most reliable or the absolute safest or the absolute. I'm saying prioritize the driving experience, but we have to think about the practical side. And that's what that channel's about. Well, and this year I'm going to focus a little bit more on detailed information on Exotic Car Play Place. I'm going to talk more in detail. I'm going to offer up a lot more, practical how-to improvements, ways for you to make your life easier to own a car. Specifically fun cars. I might tell you how to do some simple maintenance. I'm not going to rebuild an engine for you because I think that this audience just doesn't care all that much about every nut and bolt and torque settings and doing plastic gauging on your case when you're putting together, reassembling the bottom end. I don't think anybody here really cares that much about it. But I will start to talk about some little bit more detail around mechanics and possibly ways of, staying ahead of your vehicle, improving on your vehicle, make it more fun, more practical, cooler, more interesting. A lot of those features. I'm also going to do more roasts, and that's pretty exciting because I always love doing that. Breakaway. Roasts are not coming from a place of being malicious. Roasts are coming from a place where, let's have some fun with this. I don't care. My son even says, looks and laughs and points at the F-Type and says it looks like a fish. I just laugh. At the end of the day, everybody's got their point of view and their perspective. We just all need to have, come at it from a light heart, right? I mean, I'm going to come at it. I'm going to be pure roast. But at the end of the day, it's coming at it from more of a fun perspective. And I hope you guys can all see past that. I'm not coming at pure malicious, be all mean. Like, that's not me. Like, anybody who knows me on a personal level knows I've got a really long fuse. I don't want to blow my horn, but honestly, I'm just coming from a place where I just like to see others do well and others thrive, and I like to help people, and that's what it's about. I just want to help people on both a personal level. I've always been one of those like people that sort of just likes to help, and maybe, I don't know what you classify that. Maybe alpha, maybe beta. I don't know, whatever it is, but I think it's a bit of both in there, or all of the above. The point of the matter is I like to help people, and I feel like that's the avenue to do that. No, I mean, some people are going to take exceptions to some of those lists I do on Exotic Car Play Place, and we're going to continue on doing lists like that. And I'm going to poke holes in cars that are problematic. I mean, if I'm coming at a list of cars with the worst engines, it's probably for a good reason. Now, I'm not saying don't buy those cars. A car like the F-Type might be on a list with one of those worst or best lists. But you just have to take that piece of information that makes sense to you and decide for your own self whether that car is still worth buying. I'm not saying these cars with the 5 worst engines, don't buy them. I'm saying, okay, know that, and then either mitigate it or not buy it. That's your choice. But at least you know going in what you're dealing with. So that's the point of that channel. It's all about trying to help. And that's where I'm coming from, everyone. I'm trying to be more dialed in. I'm going to be more detailed. I'm probably going to do a little bit more, little less vague stuff. I'm going to be more focused in 2023 on Exotic Car Play Place. Definitely more focused. I've got a channel manager I'm working with. We've got an editor. I've got some background filming crew. Essentially, there's about 4 or 5 in this team that helps the success of Exotic Car Play Place. So we're going to continue developing that. We're going to dial in the precision, and I'm sure you're going to start to see the trend of being a little bit more detailed, a little more specific, and a little bit more in line, video on video. You're going to probably see less, going this way and then going that way, and you're going to see a little more consistency in the content. And I hope that helps, keep a lot of you guys more interested in long term, because, I do see the statistics, and a lot of my statistics, through analyzing it, channel manager comes to me and says, 2022 and 21, I have been a little bit scattered, and, while this topic might attract that type of audience, then I go over here and I do this topic because it's a hot topic somewhere else, brings in this audience. But then I lose this audience in the process, and then I go back and I do another video on this topic, but then I lose both those other audiences, and I'm finding it tough to bring it all together. The bottom line, the underlying theme here though is drive the car that makes you happy, but just know that there's some practical sides and there's some downsides that you need to think about. So I'm here really. The channel really is about helping you guys. That's what Exotic Car Play Place is all about, helping you guys make the right car buying choice, and that you understand what some of those nuances are. It's really about helping you buy the next car. That's really what it is. That's what Exotic Car Play Place is, arming you with the information to make the right choice. Mark Holbus the Vlog, I'm coming at it straight Mark Holbus style, purely from my personality, from my take, from my passions. You're going to hear it from my mouth, and there's going to be no, beating around the bush. I'm going to tell you what I really think, purely and simply. And if it's crap, it's crap. You're going to know it. I'm going to call it out. So again, I'm very excited. We've got some new staff coming on board. We're getting, like I said, a newfound focus. And you guys viewing, my channel's growing, and we're about to roll over 200,000 views here on Exotic Car Play Place here or 200,000 subs, I should say, on Exotic Car Play Place. Here, we're doing very, very well too. I'd love to see, an escalation in, increase in subscribers on Mark Holbus the Vlog as well. But it's growing, and it can't grow without you guys. So I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting the channel. It's super, super just amazing. Lack of better words, but just to have all you guys engaged week on week on week. And I see some of the same names, some of the same folks that are super engaged in the commentary that we get into. A lot of it's because the F-Type, and a lot of you guys are very passionate about the F-Type. But I do veer off, and I talk about, some of my passions for the supercars, the classics, the Countaches, Diablos, some of the old Lamborghinis and old Ferraris. I love that stuff. And a lot of that stuff is really what I'm about. So I hope that you guys, if maybe I'm not talking about the F-Type, but that'd be super to see and hear from each one of you, even on those videos where I'm talking about something different. Because when I'm talking about something different, maybe there's actually another great car I'm going to be probably featuring here coming up very soon. An 89 930 Turbo is getting a rebuild at Buddy Ed's shop. And literally, I want to talk about that too. Because if I'm talking about those cars, it's because it's a place of passion. And I know a lot of you guys can appreciate a lot of those, but it's a true enthusiast perspective. And that's what we're about here, and the love of cars. So thanks, everyone. It's been a wonderful last couple years. And I continue to get excited every week on week and producing great content for you guys. And I'm glad you guys are supporting the channels. It's just great. Again, so I'm going to finalize this. I'd love to hear your comments below where you think the channel should go, both channels, specifically Mark Holubus Vlog. If there's something that you guys would like to see more of, maybe there's a specific type of content within that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a vlog. It's my personal life experiences, but maybe you'd like to see focus areas in certain things that maybe I'm already involved with, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. Again, if you've got an F-Type, I'd love to hear your miles on yours. I'd love to see who's got the highest miles out there. Please drop a line. And don't forget to swing on over. Check that video over there. I'm going to link that video. That's Exotic Car Play Places comparison between the F-Type R and the Mercedes C300, both 2018s. We're not driving them, but we do a very, very good quality, detailed experience and conversation, and compare some of the dollars and cost of ownership, and do some walkarounds. And I think you guys will find that video kind of interesting. If you haven't seen it already, definitely want to check it out. So thanks again, everyone. Great week, great year, and is super excited for a wonderful, busy 2023. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. We'll catch you real soon. Bye-bye.